My name is Donato and welcome to the top of the world! Oh yes, welcome to another Malvern Monday where I'll be taking you quickly through my Berlin Marathon week 9 training, but also I'll be sharing some hot tips on how to get the most out of your hot summer training ready for an autumn marathon. And be sure to watch to the very end because I'll share with you how, by training through this hot summer weather, I've had some of my best marathon performances in the autumn following this kind of super hot weather. So without further ado, let's go. Yes, beautiful people, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the top of the world. Well, not quite the top of the world, but here in the Malvern Hills, this is North Hill, if you know your hills, and I'm heading out towards Worcestershire Beacon as part of this Malvern Monday where I'll be discussing with you, as I mentioned, the training I've been doing in the past week and how, top tips, how I adapt my training to ensure I have the best marathon performances come autumn. Because this coming autumn, at the end of September, I'll be doing Berlin Marathon, where I'll be going for my ultimate goal at the age of 63 and a half for a sub-3 marathon, which for anyone of any age is a stupendous achievement. But I'm sure you would agree, at this young age of mine, in my 60s, mid-60s, it is quite an incredible ask. So let's go through what's been happening in the past week. Yes, guys and gals, it's absolutely a beautiful day here in the Malvern Hills. Absolutely love it here. And last week's Berlin Marathon, the training that I've done was a bit of running, walking, and I threw in a bit of cycling. You might, if you follow my shorts, first time I was out on the bike in almost 3 years since I'd done that Ironman, and it was absolutely beautiful out on that bike. So it's only about 30k on the bike, but running wise, I had 3 runs and completed a little over 50 kilometers. 2 main long runs, a 20k and a 26k with a 5k recovery thrown in. But also, whilst that might not sound a lot of mileage or kilometerage for running, I did do over 50 kilometers walking or hiking like this as well. And that's all part of the training that I feel about time on feet and find it very beneficial. So that was my training for Berlin. But let me give you some little nuggets of what happened during this training. The nuggets of information. Yes, if you do follow me on the Strava and look through the splits, you would have noticed that on these long runs, yes, the 20k was a midweek evening run, which I don't normally do, but because of schedules, family commitments and so on, I had to move it to an evening. And the last sort of 5-6 kilometers didn't feel good at all mechanically, yeah, my actual chassis. The same happened on the 26k run. The last 6k felt really slow and awful. But as we know, it's all about training and gaining, and then we just repeat. Clearly what I found from my training is that because I've been resting so much and taking the recovery, which you would have seen on last week's video, quite serious, that I've lost a lot of endurance in terms of my mechanics. Yes, the heart rate's all fine and super, but the actual mechanics of my legs, tendons, hips, knees, ankles and all that needs to be built up again, and the strength needs to come back. Yes, I've got the strength, but the endurance, running endurance, is not there, and that's all part of the training, which I'll go on to about my nuggets of information that we all want, yeah, of how, because for me, I've had some of the most amazing performances in the autumn following a summer of training. Often it's hot and sunny like this. Right now it's in the 20s Celsius and it's still early morning. Yeah, so it's cooking, hence the hat on, sun cream all over, factor 50. Yes, no less, factor 50. Is that I certainly remember, and I'm very much looking forward to going back to Germany. I do love Germany. My last marathon in Germany, my first and only marathon in Germany, was at Frankfurt, which was my second marathon, and I put in a stupendous performance where I took off over 30 minutes from the spring marathon time. So how did I do that and all the other autumn marathons? So that's why I'm looking forward to going back to Germany, running Berlin. I've been told it's the flattest, fastest course in the world, so I'm looking forward to that. But how did I adapt my training to ensure I had the best performance in autumn? Let's go. As I've now arrived at Worcestershire Beacon, the highest peak of the Malvern Hills, and that's what we want to do, don't we, when we run a particular race? We want to be at the peak of our performance. Yes, can you see what I did there? This is over 1,000 feet above sea level, and it feels quite epic up here. Absolutely fantastic views. Yes, you've got to love the drone shots around here. It really does encapsulate how beautiful and amazing it is here. But peak performance, how do we achieve peak performance when it's hot summer days and we can't hit our paces, we're drained, exhausted, all that type of stuff? Are you ready for this? Here's some first nuggets, and I'm sure a lot of you will know this yet, but it's just a reminder, I think, for some, and for others, leave a comment if there's any takeaways from this video that you may have learned. Let's get into those nuggets. The first nugget, which I alluded to in the sentence where I said earlier, you know, where we can't hit the paces that we have on our plan and whatever. Yes, if you have a training plan that talks about paces, forget it, because in this heat, if you're training to a particular pace, it's going to be so much harder to hit those paces in this heat, as you would have seen in one of my previous videos where I had a 10k race and totally blew up. Despite it being a flat course, it was hot, humid, and ran considerably slower on a flat course than I did on a very hilly course 10 days before. So don't focus on pace, it's all about effort, and in particular on the long runs. You might get away with it on some of these short, sharp training sessions where you're doing maybe 4x400 meters, 4x200 meters, early morning. You may get away with it on those in terms of those paces, but I always look at effort when it comes to long runs. This Sunday, as I mentioned just gone, one of the issues was about my mechanics and I was sort of slowing right down. But when I was doing some marathon effort, it was all about the effort, not pace. So I'll look at heart rate, and heart rate will always be elevated in this heat. Yes, I know. Am I stating the obvious? But it's always good to refresh ourselves. So it's all about effort, 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 not pace. It's a bit like when you're doing winter training and you're running in 20-mile-per-hour headwinds. How in heaven's name are you going to hit a particular pace? Because to hit that pace, you would be having to train at a much harder effort, which is the wrong way of training. We need to train to the right effort. RPE, I think it's called, whatever, perceived effort, relative perceived effort, and work out what works for you in terms if you need to do marathon pace, endurance pace, what's the other paces that we do at, you know, training. It's the percentage of maximum heart rate, and that's a whole new video in terms of how do you calculate your maximum heart rate. What's the other nugget of info that we need? Yeah, this nugget, it's sort of 2 in 1 really. 2 for the price of 1. Yes, if you've got all the way here, it's clear that you do want to learn more and see how we're progressing, because this channel is all about saying it how it is. The 2 in 1. Yes, on weather like this, you got to take hydration with you, water with you, gels, all that type of stuff. But the other one is, don't worry about if you want to stop or walk at certain points. I mean, on the Sunday just gone, I stopped at a beer garden, and as it was early morning, the pub hadn't opened, so I wasn't having any beer. Yeah, don't worry, I wasn't that relaxed. But I had a bit of a sit down, drunk some water, had one of my gels, and carried on with my run along the canal. So take it in a chilled, relaxed way. Yeah, we don't have to smash our bodies on every run to perform at our best. And as I mentioned early on, one of my outstanding performances in an autumn marathon was at Frankfurt Marathon, after literally a summer of everything going wrong. You know, even the coach mentioned in terms of my performance, where did that come from? Whilst we had a goal time, and we did hit that goal time in the race, yeah, 3 hours 15, 3 hours 16, yeah, a whole half an hour off my previous marathon from 6 months before. I was training in this heat. I was also in LA, Los Angeles, Hollywood, training in that extreme heat, long runs in heats like no other, and my training runs, like the Sunday just gone, were literally falling apart. couldn't maintain any effort. It was just hard work, just trying to hold a particular effort. So the pace was extremely slow and slowing down all the time. But what I've learned is to follow the process, trust the process, and we know that we'll get the best peak performance during our race. Well, I hope you've enjoyed those nuggets of information training in hot summer weather. And say I do post some nuggets on the YouTube shorts now and again, and sometimes repeat myself because repetition is good. Sometimes we need to be reminded, as Mark Cameron did, about recovery time for after hard races. And yeah, if you got all the way to the very end, then please do reward yourself with a medal and thumbs up, subscribe and hit that alarm bell if you haven't already done so, and please do share this video amongst all your friends and family, whether they run or not, because this channel is all about being the best versions of ourselves that we can be. Yes, sometimes I throw some entertainment and mildly sarcastic stuff, but a lot of it is actual genuine good helpful stuff that will make you not just a better runner but a better person, I believe. So thank you so much for watching all the way to the very end. As I said, reward yourself with the thumbs up, and I look forward to seeing you at another upcoming Malvern Monday, Marathon Monday, whatever we want to call it, onwards to our Berlin sub 3 marathon. Yes, my legs do feel okay despite not feeling so good after that long run. Oh yes, we are good, aren't we? You're good anyway. As they often say, all roads lead to Rome, so whichever way we go, we'll get to Rome. Is that true? As a little addendum with regard to this video and training and peak performance, for me, and it might be for you as well, it's just enjoy the training, enjoy the running. I'm in this for the long run, yes, pun intended. I'm not here to make any short-term gains for the long-term detriment, because that's what often happens when we do these types of things. And yes, there's some weird and wonderful training plans out there, and I'd like to leave them out there with the weird and wonderful. But as I'm enjoying my little walk here through the woods, yes, be sure if you go down to the woods today, you're in for a big surprise. And yeah, I'll just say enjoy the training, enjoy the running, have a good time, and whatever happens on race day, at least you know you've enjoyed your training. Yeah. See you all soon.